Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. Thank you for taking the time out to join us for this presentation on unlocking the power of the planning worksheet in Business Central. Presenting today is David Morales. He is one of our senior application consultants here at Innovia. And as a reminder, we are recording this webinar, and we will send a copy of the recording to all of the registrants, and it will be posted in our on-demand webinar library on our website and on YouTube. We do encourage you to ask questions during the presentation, so please type those into the Q&A box at the bottom of your Zoom panel screen, and we will address those as we go along and also at the end if anybody has any questions. So I'm going to turn it over to David, and he's going to start our presentation.
Thank you, Angie. Okay, so first of all, thank you everyone for your time here in this webinar. My name is David Morales. I have been working with Navision and Business Central for the past 15 years, doing full cycle implementations, pre-sales, project management, and more many hats. This is a topic that really is to my heart because I love manufacturing, inventory, and planning. So I'm glad to be doing that today. Well, I would like to start with a little story. So a few years ago, I worked for a manufacturing company that made high-end kitchen appliances, mixers, toasters, blenders, the kind of product that make you feel like a professional chef, even if all you're making is toast. Like most manufacturers, we run our entire supply chain on massive color-coded spreadsheets. Complex formulas, multiple tabs, and one golden rule: never touch the MRP sheet unless you're ready for total chaos. At first, it was manageable. A few SKUs, a few components here and there. I could track what was in stock as well as my team and what was coming and where will run out. But then sales and marketing decided we need more variety. And we know how that goes. More models, more colors, more sizes, because apparently everyone needs a rose gold luxury blender now, luxury everything. So overnight, our planning went from a simple grocery list to a 3D chess game with 60,000 pieces. And then came the global sourcing machine. So we had motors from Germany, wiring from Mexico, casings from Ohio. And of course, the production team was calling all the time. We can start X or Y because we are missing a screw or we are missing this part that is $5, right? That's when I realized, and my team also, that the spreadsheets weren't the problem, they were the symptom. So we needed something smarter, right? So we decided to look around, and the ERP or the system that could help us in the best way at that moment in the past was Dynamic Nav, which now is called Business Central. And we discovered the planning worksheet. Finally, a system that could think like a planner. So it will tell us what to order, when to order, and how much, what production to release and what to hold, where bottlenecks were hiding before they hit. Sure, I double check it at first because, the Excel trauma is always deep. But soon I trusted it. And our stress levels honestly drove faster than our back orders did. Because let's be honest, every planner and buyer knows the classics. The vendor who always says, it's shipping tomorrow. The line that starts earlier before the materials arrive. The mysterious component that is always on order. The sales team selling that doesn't exist even yet. So yes, manufacturing will always be complex, but with the right system, you spend less time firefighting and more time actually planning. Maybe even enjoying your coffee while you let it run, because the planning worksheet can take a little bit. So I wanted to start or kick it off with that personal story. And now let's go into the introduction, which is our 101 module. And today I'm going to walk you through the different levels of complexity that we can use with the planning worksheet in Business Central. Because we can have or apply multiple policies, fixed reorder, lot for lot, apply safeties, buffer times, minimum quantities, minimum order, order multiples, etc. We can get as simple as we want or as complex as we need. That's why this system is so complete and so flexible, and I love it because it goes for small companies, medium companies, even big companies can use it effectively. Okay, so let's start with this level, and we will talk about. Okay, so first I'm going to show you in the presentation the settings, and then we will jump into Business Central, and I will show you how the system actually works. So let's do that. In my example, I'm going to use a share. It's called the Sydney share. So there are two sections on each item card, as you can see, replenishment and planning. We will start with this simple example. It's gonna be a purchase. We're gonna have a vendor, default vendor. We assign the purchase unit of measure. And now that we have the settings on the items, we're gonna look at the inventory position for this item. In the inventory section of the cart, we can get a quick overview of the quantities for the item. And these quantities will be a total of all locations and variants that we have. We can have color, variant, size, etc. And as you can see, we can have quantity and purchase order, production, sales, assembly, manufacturing, etc. In our case, we're going to use, okay, we have quantity on hand of 38, and we will have on a sales order 3. And then we will have other parameters that I will show you when I go into VC. When we have all the setups of our products or items in place, then the next step is going into our planning worksheet or planning engine. Without those parameters that I was talking about, the planning worksheet won't work. Okay. So here we would like to focus on the MPS because we're talking about sales today. If we were talking about production, we could also activate MRP for the internal demand. We'll we will put the starting date and ending date. Usually what planners do is, okay, we're going to plan for the short term and then we're going to plan for the long term. So you can be flexible and compare the two. Today we're going to show for a whole year. And then when we run the planning worksheet, you will see that it generates messages or suggestions based on those sales orders. I also have a sales order for 200, so you will see that it will ask even for a minimum quantity, which I put reorder for 50, and then it will ask an exception because of the calculation or the envisioning of projected available inventory that is going to be below of what is needed. And we will be able to create purchase orders automatically from it. So that's the magic. And now let's get into the system because I want to show you. So let's go into Business Central. Okay. So here I am. I'm just going to escape the sales order and go back. So for the ones that have never seen Business Central, this is how it looks like. I'm in my browser. I have saved my environment, is my production environment, my company. You can access companies here. You can change between companies. This is the landing page or role center. We have queues that let us know the KPIs or wealth indicators of your company. Overdue payments, invoices, what do I need to collect, what do I need to pay, any open orders. Each person or profile has a different role. So if I'm in the warehouse, I will have what do I need to ship today? What do I need to receive? What do I need to pick or put away, etc. If I'm an accountant, I will see outstanding POs, everything that has been shipped but not invoiced. I can see also performances here. I can drill down. I can connect Power BI or other ISVs for different reporting. And I can also program automatic reports, monthly, daily, etc. Now, I'm gonna go into the search class, and this is my favorite tool because here you can tell it what to do. It's like AI or Google. So Let's put, for example, items. I don't even have to complete the word, and it's already telling me pages, tasks, reports, and even the online Microsoft library of the product. Now I'm gonna go to items, and let's go to that chair that I was talking about before. I have also another zoom glass inside each window in VC that permits me to just search very easily. So I'm gonna go and type Sydney. And by the way, I can search by name, by any sort of value alphanumeric that I have in the page. So I could search by price, I could search by vendor number, I could search by description, I could search by number. In this case, SYD, Sydney share. I click on the number and I open the cart. And here we are. Each item will have different fast tabs or sections: item, inventory, custom posting, price and sales, replenishment, planning, item tracking, and warehouse. We will focus today in our replenishment tab and planning tab. And let me show you. So this little bubble on the top right is a fact box or information. If I click on it, I can see picture of my item. I can have attachments. Let's say we have a blueprint or we have a contract. We can add as many attachments as we need, comments. We can use artificial intelligence copilot to create even a marketing ad for this. Attribute based on the attributes. We can have forecasts as well, codes that we can include in our planning. Let's say your business is seasoning. So seasonal business, okay, summer, our sales spike, and then for the holidays that are coming, they spike as well, where we could plan those forecasts. We can input that quantity beforehand, and we can apply those codes so they are taken into account for our planning. Commissions as well. Let's say you have a sales team, they need commissions, we can have that as well. And then subscription billing too. Okay, let's go back to the replenishment. So here we're saying we're purchasing this chair, but if you're producing the chair, you could do production order. And if you are assembling or doing a kit or putting items together in a box or in a bag, you can put assembly instead. Lead time calculation. How long do I need to wait for this share to arrive? Let's say I need to wait 2 days. I have the vendor number. We can have a vendor catalog, yes, but we should put the vendor that we use the most here. So when the planning system runs, it suggests me the most used vendor based on these parameters here from the item. Purchase unit of measure. We can put the default here. It can be different from the base unit of measure. Base is going to be the one that is the smallest unit of measure that you will have in your inventory. And then purchase unit of measure, sales unit of measure will be different ones. We can change if sometimes you order in pieces, sometimes you order in boxes. You can change that on the order as well. The system is very flexible in that sense. Now on the production, manufacturing policy, we're not going to use this because it's a purchase item, but we can assign bill of materials routing if we produce something. And we can also have a bill of material for assembly if we are kitting. For the planning, we mentioned that we're going to have a reorder. So therefore, policy is going to be fixed reorder quantity. We have other reorders or policies available, maximum quantity. Every time I order again, it will go up to the top, to the ceiling of it. And we will need to put maximum quantity here. Order, it will go order by order. It will reserve, it will be very specific. And lot for lot, it will accumulate for a specific number of days, the external MPS and internal demand. And then based on those days that you tell the system, it will then suggest you what you need, comparing inventory versus POs versus what you are producing versus what is on sales. The most used are fixed reorder and lot for lot, by the way. That's what I have seen in most of the cases. And we're going to use today this one. Order tracking policy. Well, what is this? This is very interesting because we can activate to know exactly for which order, for which period, where is this coming from. If you want that trackability to be even more detailed, we can do tracking and action message. And now we have here safety lead time. We're not going to have for this one because I know it's usually 2 or 1 day. Safety stock quantity of 20. So the system will take this into account for the calculations to always make sure we're going to have 20 in stock. And then reorder point for that fixed reorder quantity policy is going to be 50. And then reorder quantity is going to be 10. Maximum inventory, we're not going to use that. And then minimum order quantities, we're telling the system that we will do 10 and then order multiples of 10 as well. We could potentially also have item tracking code, serial numbers, lot numbers, etc. Okay. Now, let's go a little bit up. And here on the inventory area, we see the quantity on hand. Let's click on that. 38. What is a 38? Well, first of all, it will tell me all the story of this item and what is making that 38 from the very beginning of the first entry of that item until now. Okay? It will tell me as well the location, and location means warehouse in this system. And then quantity on sales order. I put 200 on a sales order, and we can show that order from here. So I don't need to go around and clicking many times and looking for the sales module. It can just be accessed through the item card, very easy. If I go down here, I can see my sales order line, signature for 200, the price, tax group if applicable. You can see taxes applied. And here, total before taxes and total after taxes. Okay, so now next step will be going to our planning worksheet. So let's click search and then planning worksheet. And here we go, the window pops up. And how do we generate a plan here? We click prepare, calculate, and then we're going to focus on MPS. We're not doing MRP for now. And then a starting date and ending date. We have to be careful of the working date because this is my demo environment. It's backdated to February. So I take into account that February here. And then I put the starting date is going to be February. I want you to plan from right now until the end of the year. And I can apply other filters. I want to filter for my item number, the signature. And I'm going to hit OK. And when I do that, I see all my different information here. I'm not just seeing the different suggestions or action messages. I'm also seeing on the right side per each of the line the item details. I can get into the item card from here. I can see the reordering policy, the reordering point, the quantity, maximum inventory, safety stock, a minimum order. So these numbers permit me to understand why the system is suggesting me all of these lines and what will be the reason behind each of them. And the dates are gonna be key because what we were saying is that the sales order, let's go to that sales order. And actually I can go from within the item card so we can see the exact sale order. So if we go into that sales order, let's take a look at the dates. So on the header of a sales order, we have document date, posting, order, due date, request delivery from our customers, and then the promised delivery date that we give to the customer. These dates accuracy are gonna be totally important for the planning system to do its work in the correct way. So we're saying here, May 13, due date for financials or payment terms is June. And then requested delivery from our customers was June 1st and promised delivery is 530. 200, we have 38 in stock right now. So we will need at this point to have 62, right? Yeah. Then we're going to go back, and back. And let's understand. Okay, so today's 225.25 in my system, right? And now because I have safety stock quantity of 20, Reorder point is 50. So the system is suggesting me to, okay, we need to purchase quantity right now. Then there is an exception that we need to do. Exception because we needed to have the 20 in stock available beforehand. It is telling me, hey, attention, the starting date is before the working date. So I want to intentionally show this because as you can see, the system will never permit you to go in like, okay, we're gonna do this, but it's gonna be sort of funny because we don't have a time machine. We cannot go back 2 days in time, right? But because of my lead time of 2 days, that we know that from the moment that we put the purchase, it will take 2 days from the vendor's door to arrive to my warehouse door. That's why it's going back 2 days from the 25 to the 23. It knows that. It takes into account that, right? And it is ordering the 20 that we should have in inventory as a safety stock. Okay. Now, the other one that we have here is the 160 that we will need extra for the completion of the 200. And then we will need to have this extra 40 so that we still have the 20 that we need for our safety stock after the fact, after all the order is completed. So now that we understand what's going on, why is suggesting all of these different lines in these different dates that are aligned to what we have in the sales order and versus the item parameters that we fill out, then we can do the home carry out message.
Hey, David,
Yes?
we have a question that might be
Mm-hmm.
pertaining to what exactly you're working on. They're asking, how does the system handle planning when multiple SKUs of the same item share demand across locations?
Oh, that's an excellent question. And this can do for multiple locations as well. It's not just for one location. You can generate a plan for a specific location. But as you can see, when I did the generative plan, I didn't put a filter for the location. So it will take into account all the different locations that we need to build that item. Let's say it's a kit or we are producing it. It will go through all the levels of the bill of materials and it will look what we have in inventory versus what we have scheduled to receive versus what we have on an order for the parent item. And it will go through all of that and then suggest all the lines based on each of those components parameters as well. I hope that solves the question.
I believe so.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right, so where was I? Okay, yeah, next step. Yes, activating or carry out the messages. So let's do here, carry out the message. And then we're going to say, okay, we need to do purchase orders. So we're going to tell it, make purchase orders. But as you can see here, we can create production orders, we can create assembly, we can create transfers. The system is very complete in the sense that depending on the replenishment and planning method for each item, you can create any of these. Okay, if it is a pattern item, back to that question that I was asked, then you will need production orders if that's is for stock. Or like let's say you have production pro to order. So okay, just in time. It will also suggest you. Same for assemblies. Assembly to order or assembly to stock based on that. And then transfer orders. There are some companies that they have a lot of stock keeping unit based on location and variant, which is a functionality of the system. And some of those stock keeping units can be transferred between locations because there are companies that have many warehouses. And sometimes they just do it in one warehouse and then transfer it to the other warehouse. And maybe they have even subcontracting and they need to transfer here and there. And they want to track subcontractor location to. So that's when this transfer order as well comes into place. But right now we're just focusing on the purchase order. So make purchase order. Actually, I like to print it. So I'm printed. And let's see. Okay. Then open file. And this is how the purchase orders will look like. So it will create purchase order 1056 for this, right? Consolidating the demand. And this is something interesting. It won't, if it is the same vendor, if it is the same item, it won't create like the four purchase orders. No, it's intelligent enough to say, okay, I'm going to consolidate it in one purchase order because it makes sense, right? Now, if I go to purchase, and by the way, do you see that this exception didn't go through? It won't let you. You will need to change the dates so that it makes sense in like in the planning, right? Let's go to the purchase order. Purchase orders. And it should be the very last one that was created. Okay, so 1056, the one that we saw in our PDF. Let's open that. Okay, and we have here the location is going to be main. And then if I had done, maybe I forgot to put the location in the sales order or the planning, but we have to be careful to put the location as well so that it suggests to which location to buy. Okay, so orders, production orders, sales orders, purchase orders, all of those should have the location so that it's suggesting us with the location included as well. Okay. But as you can see, it's very easy. It's great. It's so flexible. It's just take all the information that we saw in the planning worksheet and boom, it puts it here. Takes all the information from the vendor card, puts it up there, address, buy from, details, contact email, the lines which are the source of the or the soul of the document automatically for me. So pretty cool. Now, this is what happens with the one-on-one. Any questions until now? So we set up an item, the planning parameters, replenishment parameters. We went into the planning worksheet. We say, okay, calculate the plan for me for this specific amount of time. It was complying with the MPS, which is the external demand. And then we created the purchase orders automatically for me. We printed for reference. Any questions before I go to the next chapter?
Not currently, no.
Okay, thank you. Now let's go back to the presentation. Congratulations! But the princess is not in this castle yet. Okay, next one. Intermediate planning. So, all right. Congratulations on passing. You have completed the necessary prerequisite to move to the 201. In this section, we're going to look at two additional features of the planning worksheet. Okay? And we're going to do the lot for lot setting. So we're going to have another item, and it's going to be the same thing. I'm going to show you first here in the presentation, and then we're going to go into the system. We're going to use the 1896 Athen desk. We're going to put, well, first of all, I'm going to put fixed reorder with it, and then we're going to change it to lot so that you can see the difference, okay? And we're going to have a reorder point for 25 and 50 for her. And then we're going to do some sales lines too. We're going to go to the planning worksheet, and then we will see the planning results. And then we can change to the lot for lot, okay? The lot for lot will be just changing on the planning side, the reordered policy. And then you will see when I do that change live in the system that the other areas for reorder will be gray out. Okay. That means the system puts on and off different areas or functionality based on my policy. Otherwise, the code will go crazy, right? Trying to do all the parameters with different reorder policies at the same time. Lot for lot, we will include inventory. Absolutely, we want to do that all the time. Lot accumulation period. And also, I will put the scheduling period that I didn't include here because the planning worksheet is intelligent enough to tell you, hey, I saw you change those lines in your documents. Now you need to reschedule your documents to be in compliance with those new dates that you have. That's why dates are key. Then we will see again the planning worksheet now with the lot for lot, which is slightly different. And now let's go into BC. So item settings, we will run with fixed reorder for items desk. Then we will go back to the desk. We will change it and rerun it for lot. And then we will see what it does. Okay. So let's go back to BC. And hold on, I'm just moving here my notes on my other screen for the desk. Okay, 1 second. I'll go back here. Okay, cool. Escape, escape. And by the way, I love this in BC. I just press escape on my keyboard and just close it. It leads me back to where I need to be. Okay, now I'm gonna type desk. And here we are, Ethan's desk. All right, this is the card of my other item. We have the picture, we can have attachment, same thing, marketing, attributes, etc. Again, we have different areas, item, inventory, costing, prices, replenishment, planning, item tracking, and warehouse. And today, focusing on replenishment and planning. We're gonna put here replenishment purchase. We need to wait 5 days, okay? And then we're gonna have a vendor, a default vendor. If we want, we can have vendor item number as well. So let's say we know the number of the vendor system. So we can put it here, XCV desk, or whatever. Purchase unit of measure, manufacturing policy, assembly, then reordering. We're gonna have fix, and we're gonna change it. Fix reorder for now, 25, reorder 50. Okay. We're not gonna touch minimum orders. We did that already with the chair. And we're ready to do it. Oh, by the way, before we go to the planning, let's take a look at what we have with this item. Quantity on hand, we have 15. So let's click on that green number. We drill down, we'll say, okay. So we have in different locations, right? Let's go back. And then quantity on purchase orders, 20. Okay, here we are. We can see the different documents, tier 1, 23, 26, 29, 55, from who I'm buying, for which location, which quantities, direct costs. I can drill down into the documents if I want, just by clicking show document. It opens the PO like magic. I review the PO, the lines. Then when I finish my review, I just press escape in my keyboard. Boom, leads me back. And escape again to the item card. And then versus the sales order. Okay, so I have 21 on the sales order. But you know what? I want to make it even better. So let's change it. Let's spice this a little bit more. So instead of 21 or 20, I just want to have, let's say, 800. The available inventory is lower than the entered quantity. We get this message, show detail. This is another way to use the planning system. As long as you have the replenishment planning, etc., good, dates are accurate, it will let you know on the flies. It's so good because it just appears up there. You click on it and then it explains you available 6, inventory shortage. It was gonna be projected to minus 780 95. Allocations. Okay, let's see the locations. There you go. East, Main, etc. These are all my warehouses. And then if I go to the right, schedule to receive versus projected available balance. Where is this coming from? If I click that, it will tell me, okay, item ledger is my history of 6. Then I have purchase lines at the moment of 12. But then I have a sales line of 801 because I have one in one sales order and 800 in another sales order. That's why I have these two here. One in one sales order plus 800 equals 801. So it's very, very user friendly, very flexible. You can understand everywhere you see a green number, green letter, green whatever, you can click on it and it will tell you what it is, what is making up that number. It's so easy to understand. And then here you can click by day, by week, by month, by quarter. So it's really cool in that sense too. You can analyze the 52 weeks, quarterly, whatever the parameter of your company is, it adapts to that. Okay, so that was a quick little, hey, you can also see it from the sales order sort of comment there. I'm gonna escape. And then what I want to do is, oh, by the way, I want to double check the dates. So these ones, oh, I see that I by mistake put 2022. So intentionally, I'm gonna run it and the system should tell me something weird about the 2022. Let's do that. And then we come back and we fix it for the 25. So I'm gonna go to my search class and I'm gonna put planning worksheet. And then we're gonna get rid of these lines. Click manage, delete, go ahead and delete, yes. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna prepare and then a new generative plan. Okay, and we're not gonna do it for this item, we're gonna do it for our desk. And starting date 25, ending date 25. Okay. So this one of the 795 says emergency. What is an emergency here in the planning? Let's see. So let's click on that and let's see what is it saying. Attention, missing stock keeping unit, the item planned to cover the exact demand. Emergency order of 795. Emergency, the projected available on the planning starting date is 02/25/25. The starting date is before the working date. So again, we don't have a time machine. We cannot go back in time. So as long as we have the correct numbers and the correct dates, so this will have to be a teamwork between departments. Sales need to put their dates correctly so that my procurement and my production assembly departments can also plan according to those dates, right? Otherwise, when I come here or the planner comes here, they're gonna say, okay, but this doesn't make any sense, right? So they will receive all this attention and emergencies and whatsoever. Then when this happens, the planner needs to say, hey, sales, good morning, or you know, please let's sit down and review what's going on with your dates. When the dates are finished and done, the plan can be generated again and it should be accurate without any sort of emergency or attention. The first one though of the 50 is good, so let's carry out that message. Okay, and it will create my order 1057 for my desk. Okay, let's go back and then purchase orders and then I can go to my last one, which is the 57. And then here I can see it is creating the purchase order with the dates that I need according to the inputs of my demand. And then here I have on the lines automatically for me the quantity that I will need for the specific day. I will need to fix the planning starting and ending and the sales so that it changes the emergency. Okay, so let's do that. And we can go inside the item and we can go into the sales order. And we're going to change this sales order. So we're going to say we wanted to have a shipment date of 10, 20, 25. Okay, it updates the other ones. We can have planned delivery date, planned shipment date, and shipment date. Okay. Then I'm gonna go home and release it, and then it's gonna go back. And then here we're gonna do show document, and we're gonna update as well the dates. So 10, say 11, 11, 11, 11. Good luck number. Okay. And here, here, here. Okay. Then requested delivery. Let's say they requested on the 12th. Yes, I want to update. But we promised to deliver on the 30th. But hold on, we put 1 month. So we will need, let's put it before actually. Let's put this at 9 so that it has enough time, enough lead time to do everything that it needs to do. Okay, will make more sense. Okay. And then instead of 1, I want to have 150. And then I'm going to release. What is release? Okay, so uh, there are two statuses, or main statuses. There are actually three. So there is also pending approval. But the main two is open and release. When you open a document in BC, it's going to be open, is ready for everyone to modify it as needed. Dates, lines, comments, attachments, etc. When it's ready or it has been approved, you release it. So you click release. Release signals the warehouse, release signals, filters across the system, reports, KPIs, etc., so that it takes into account the order. Let's go back. And actually, I don't remember if I leave enough buffer time for this between the delivery and the other one. Let's put this, I believe I put 10 here. Let me see. Yes, I put 10. Okay, so let's put 8 just to give it a little bit more. It makes sense. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then requested, let's say, is a 10, 25, 25. Oh, didn't like it. Okay, doesn't matter. 10, 20, 25. Didn't make it. Oh, it's because it's not open, of course. Release it. My bad. 10, 20, 25. Yes, I want to update. And then 10, 20, 25. Let's put a little bit more, 30. the other way around. I have to first do this one, otherwise it won't let me. Yes. And then this one. Okay, cool. And then, yes, we want to update the line. Now we go to the line. Everything is aligned. Good. Planning, delivery, etc. Okay. Now, if we go and run the planning worksheet again, you will see a difference in numbers. You will see a difference in everything else because I updated quantities and dates. So prepare, calculate for my desk, and then okay. And now it is telling me, hey, now you changed what you needed. So please cancel this and then do this new instead. So the system is intelligent enough to never let you overflow in inventory quantities and costs. So the action messages can be, please cancel this, or create a new document, or reschedule this, right? It can change dates or cancel if you don't need any more. Now, let's go ahead and to carry out message. And yes, I want to cancel that. Let's carry out all of them. And now I have three purchase orders. 58. Oh no, we don't have three purchase orders. Why? Well, the first one was a cancel, remember? And the second and third line were for the first for the same vendor. Therefore, it consolidates them here in a date that makes sense to be in compliance with these two and the lead time that we assign. So if we go back to the purchase orders, we can see those three. I'm gonna click on the number on the title of the column and it organizes for me. And then I can see 58. And here we are. We have our lines. They do have what? Okay. Why is not on the same line? Well, we have different planned receipt dates for each of them based on what I need to have in my inventory at a specific time. So we will have this purchase order open. We will have a receipt for these first ones, and then we will have a receipt later on for these ones according to the dates that I have in my item and vendor lead times. Okay, so it will respect that. It doesn't want you to have overflow of inventory when you don't need it. It will wait until you do. Any questions of how to fix emergencies or doesn't make sense dates, errors in the planning worksheet?
Kind of. We have a couple questions.
Okay.
First one is, how can we fine-tune safety stock levels to avoid overstocking while maintaining service levels?
Well, that's something that internally you have to review with your planning. You have to see also your forecast history as well of sales. So you will have, okay, I have all this history of sales. Are they seasonal or not? Um, what I'm usually selling for this period of time. You can apply that forecast and then you can see, okay, through our company experience in our planning department, we should have every month or we should have 10 or 20 or 30. It will depend of a mixture of experience, historical entries, and the forecasting that you know about your business. Then you will be able to define the safety units that you need. It will be also a matter of test and error. So as you start putting a safety stock or a safety lead time as well, you can adjust. What I suggest you is you can go into a sandbox, which is a test environment, and you can start playing with these parameters, as I'm doing right now. You put demand of sales orders versus purchase orders and versus inventory. Play with the safety lead and the safety stock and see like with real cases scenarios that you have seen in your company, and then you will be able to understand or see some results. Perhaps it's going to be a crazy result at first, and then you start fine tuning it until it makes sense for your team. I hope it helped.
Okay, thank you.
Hmm.
Next question is, what advanced planning features or modules would you recommend learning next after mastering the planning worksheet?
Absolutely. So after you master the plan, and by the way, planning worksheet is just one worksheet. We have order planning, which works for projects as well. And we have the requisition worksheet as well, which is okay, let's say we have a bigger department. It's not just one person or two persons doing this. Let's say there is a planner, supervisor, and there is a purchaser or a subordinate, right? So from the planning worksheet, I can send those orders to the requisition worksheet, and then from there we can do drop shipping, so that will be something also to master, drop shipping or special orders concept. And then mastering the requisition worksheet, which is very similar, same logic behind the scene, code, etc., to the planning worksheet. And also, if your company is a little bit more complex and make projects or custom orders mixed with manufacturing, which is a very interesting mix. If you have CAD or any sort of middleware that communicates with external design software, which we have implemented at Innovia, by the way, then that is a more complex advanced setting, but you need to use the three worksheets, right? But the source or the mother chip of them is the planning worksheet. That will be the standard. Now, if we're talking about ISVs that we really or highly recommend are the ones from InsideWorks and from Lanham. We will have a scheduler or graphical scheduler is the name, where you can see bars, you can move the different demand, the different items, is more flexible, is more visual. You can just drag and drop orders around, and it will tell you the details, everything in one page. That's a great tool and advanced planning tool as well from InsideWorks, which is great and we have implemented across multiple customers throughout the years. There is the order requisition or order line worksheet, which permits you to have more, even more parameters and even more flexibility and dates adjustments on the fly in one window as well. So these ISVs or applications or extensions, they are apps that can be easily installed in Business Central, and I will highly suggest you to look for those. And let me show you here. So inside works planning. So I can show you here very quickly. So there is an enhanced planning worksheet for Business Central, and this is their page. And by the way, we work with them a lot. And this is, if not the most recognized vendor in North America and now expanding to Europe for everything related to manufacturing, planning, etc. You name it. They are great. High quality delivery, support, etc. So here we can have the pack, which includes multiple of what I have been saying. So enhance forecasting, item planning review. So let's say, for example, this. You don't get this out of the box. You can have all stock keeping unit planning, all the parameters that I was talking about. Then you have planning review here for the average usage, posting groups, item categories. You can filter, like it's like all what I have shown with steroids, right? You can create orders on the fly, run purchase plans. So these ones for sure I will recommend to go after you master everything that is available in Business Central as a standard. Hope that clarifies. Next question.
Those are all the questions right now.
Okay, thank you. And then how are we doing with time, Angie?
We got just like 2 minutes.
Okay, yeah, so let's go back and I just want to show you how to change the item. All right, so with a little pencil, we can click on it and then we're gonna go down to the planning area and we just make a little tweak here, lot for lot. So we mentioned that lot for lot accumulates in a specific time the demand, external or internal, and then suggests you what you need to order to comply with it. So let's do include inventory. Absolutely. We want to do that switch on every time. Lot accumulation period, let's say, is 5 days. And then rescheduling period, let's do 5 days as well. So we accumulate 5 days, and then it thinks that we need to change something, let it change with the 5 days. Reorder is not available anymore because, again, as I mentioned before, the system will go crazy if it tries to do two systems at the same time. All right. So now that we changed this, how does it look in the planning worksheet? So let's go back to planning worksheet and then let's run it again. Oh, but hold on. I have the purchase order alive, so I need to kill it so that it actually runs. Let me do this. I'm gonna just delete it. Okay, yes, I want to delete it. All right, escape, back here, prepare, regenerative plan, and then okay. Okay, so as you can see, it didn't change too much. Why? Because I leave enough space between the period, lead time, load accumulation, etc. So we have like 1 or 2 months, something like that, on these sales orders between the order date and between the shipment date and what we promised to deliver. So that's why it didn't change too much. I see that maybe there's a question. Oh no, it's a comment. Okay. And then okay, so we change here. Then let's continue with our presentation because we are at the top of the hour. Congratulations. 201, we were able to move to the next level. And now advanced planning, well, is mostly what I talked about replying to the questions. So basically, you can upload forecast from Excel or have generated directly inside VC. And this helps planners to have a clear look at what is coming, not just reacting to demand, but anticipating it, which I think is key. Next, the stock keeping units or SKUs. This is where the magic of multi-location planning happens. Each location and each variant can have its own parameters. Safe stock, reorder points, lead times, the ones that we were talking about, all tailored to real-world behavior of that site or product. And finally, we have the transfer orders. Think of it as the logistic brain, as I was mentioning before, or the supply chain. Whatever you're sending components for your main hub to regional plants, different warehouse or location, finished goods to warehouse, uh, transfer orders, keep it all synchronized and documented. If you don't need a document per se, you can just do an item reclassification or an item movement. In the end, it's the same. It's just the transfer order. Let's say you transfer by plane or by truck or by sea, and you want to have that in transit. You want to track what it is in real time. That is the transfer order's value. Then you can even model a hub and a spoke network where one central location fits many branches. Great for companies with multiple plants, as I said before, or distribution centers. Advanced planning isn't just about pushing buttons, by the way. It's about just letting BC connect the dots. As long as we have a strong base, as anything in life, if you have a strong base, if you have a strong setup, then you will be able to have a strong planning and let BC do its magic. And then we have also other concepts that we were talking about. So order specific, tracking, safety stock, and safety lead times. Um, because, well, let's be honest, the trucks and the humans don't always arrive exactly on time. So that's why I was being very emphatic on compare your experience, you know your trucks, you know your times through that history of deliveries and orders that you have done versus what you need in your demand. So then you can play with it in the system until it makes sense. And well, we already talked about, well, dampener periods. Okay, dampener. A lot of customers are like, what is dampener, David? What is that? Well, it features save planners from getting spam by unnecessary action messages. Dampener basically says like, okay, just relax. Don't reschedule everything just because the forecast changed by 1 unit. It keeps your planning stable, calm, and realistic. It's like, okay, if it passes 2 days, 3 days, 1 week, just relax. Don't change the whole plan, you know? And we can put that days there. And yeah, and we can do manufacturing for lot sizes. So you can put for particular lot sizes as well, and it will do that for you. Plans are useless, but planning is fundamental or essential. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending this webinar. I hope it was good. If you learned something, or at least if you already knew it, I made you think about something or remember something. And yeah, appreciate your valuable time. Thank you all. I pass to Angie again.
All right. Thank you, David, for the presentation and for everyone who attended. And those were great questions that you asked. So thank you for participating. And just as a reminder, this was recorded. Everyone will get a copy of it in your inbox. So be looking for that soon. And check out our resources page. I put information in the chat on that. And we just hope to see you soon at one of our upcoming webinars. So thank you everyone again and have a good rest of your week. Take care.